thank you for joining me here on Rasta's Reality. Do not forget to subscribe and like the video as it gives you value. The purpose of this video is to further highlight the lasting effects of Son-Husbandism. Son-husbands on male children in particular and or teens. It triggers me but hurts more that my second-born son is getting the shit end of the stick as it pertains to living for his purpose. It is no aspiration of any young man to be following in the shadows of toxic females disguised as mothers. This includes moms. There's a difference. The same is true between a male and a man, and a dad and a father. That said, I cannot feel too bad for him, for he is a willing participant in the degradation of his own life. This matter is quite an epidemic, as my mom tried and failed to do the very same to me. And when common sense kicked in, she became combative and essentially poisoned my younger brother's minds against me for actually taking care of myself as she taught. Make sense? Do not let me be misunderstood. I love my parents, but not more than myself. We are born by ourselves and will expire the same way, no matter how many may be around and or whatever relation that they may be to us. The most difficult part about being a father is having to watch any child, let alone your children, go through unnecessary self-inflicted as a result of another being, no matter their relation to them. This father constantly reaches out to provide lifelong assistance in the avoidance of society's and life's pitfalls. And until there's no more strength and breath in my body, I will continue to do so. Or unless those young men say to me that they no longer want my assistance. And fine, I'll leave you alone. You know, it's critical that it's not just the moments of what's in it for me type of mindset of certain societies' females. We have another epidemic of females, mentioning what's in it for me. I can't do anything for you until I find out what's in it for me. If you look across the web, you look across most social sites, most gender issues, it's typically that type of mindset of what's in it for me. And I'm of the mindset of, we're here for ourselves, but we're also here for a reason. Do as much good and work as you can, protect yourself, and let the cards fall where they may. And therefore, everyone's okay. It's not just the males are okay, or the females are okay, or the men are okay, or the women are okay. Everyone's okay when everybody's looking after each other. And unfortunately, not many share that mindset. Now, my second-born son's day of birth is early April. I figured that I would invite him over to my place for a pre-birthday father-son gathering. He came through, and I enjoyed his company and felt he enjoyed himself as well. Now you're asking yourself, or the screen out loud, where's the trigger that you spoke about earlier? For those who are viewing the video, see the screen, and those just listening, please do not watch the screen if you're driving and/or operating dangerous equipment. The media on the screen is a post from the aforementioned second born of mine, and it reads, "I would like to thank my moms for pushing me out of her cooter 22 years ago." At first glance, I had no issues with it, but upon further insightful deliberation, let the fuming begin. Because as you all now know, he spent the day before his day of birth with me, his father. My issue with the post is that it mentions his mom versus my parents, which hammers home my earlier points regarding earned titles versus just because of titles. I know that I am not the only person who sees that. Now on screen is another post that strikes me as curious as to why he would think or believe that he would even be considered for Section 8, a program, hint, hint, program for females with a host of son husbands and loose-minded female children to attain housing for the low. Further, in military terms, Section 8 signals mentally unstable or mentally unfit. Yes, I have made him aware of this fact, and yet his mindset his focus is on attaining something that's primarily for females with children. Now, and I also had to speak with him and let him know, because he also mentioned attaining a car. And while I don't have an inherent problem with him attaining a car, I had to bring another thing to his attention. Why would your focus be on attaining a vehicle so you can move around and not be on the buses and trains, which is understandable, but not on attaining your own place to stay? Because in my opinion, this is how I see it, and this is not an umbrella statement, but if you buy a vehicle with no place to stay, and you are living or you're staying with your mom or some chick or some people that you claim friends, and it goes south, well, guess where you will be at? You'll be living in your car. Now, true enough, you will be living in your car. It's your car, and you're paying a note on it. But in my opinion, I would much rather have a place to stay, a place to live, to call my own, and then work on the vehicle later. This is the result of Son-Husbandism. The incorrect paths of thinking. You know, it takes me back to the days of my teen to adult years when I was still at home myself with my mom, and how she would always say things like,
"You're going to go to school or work and help me pay these bills."
You know, the single mom's mantra. Here's why it bothered me then and still bothers me now. Though she's deceased, she taught me many things on how to take care of myself, but then wanted me to stay at home with her to help her pay her bills, as if we were a couple. Mind you, she had me, and I thank her for doing so, as she did not have to. But come on now. See, mindsets like that and things like that essentially looks out for everyone else but ourselves. And when those people either leave us or dies, now we have not attained any of the lessons that we needed to take care of ourselves, to become self-sufficient, as opposed to the popular term of that's a lie, by the way. The popular term of independence. It's more of a self-sufficiency thing. Here's why I highlighted that part. Because helping her pay her bills does not assist me, as I previously mentioned, and it doesn't assist me as a young adult to do anything on my, to do things on my own, to develop key adult life skills for survival. And then when you get out here and then into the world as males and young men, still children in adults' bodies, and every chick that we meet, we're looking for our mamas and those chicks. And that's a red flag to the chicks who are actually in relationships with us. They see that, they sense that, and they feel that, and they use it against us. It's essentially signals to become a simpleton for females. That started where? Of course, in the home or in the house. This has got to stop. Males, in particular ebony males, are instantly behind the 8-ball when born. Because like gravity, everyone and everything seems to want to take you down. The other thing that bothers me about my young man's Section 8 post is where he heard about attaining Section 8. You fill in the blank where you think he heard that from. Additionally, why would he allow someone who I assume is a female to jeopardize his chances of getting into a program that's primarily for females with multiple children? Lastly, the last post hurts my heart as well. One reason of many of how that same young man was shot 9 times. And I almost lost him forever because of his low-end mentality. Because his inability to not be so mentally ingrained in Son-Husbandism. Now, for those not familiar with the low end, it's what's called the projects here in Chicago, a state and federally funded program. There's that program term again that houses mostly melanated folk and is a cesspool for crime. It also degrades and incites unfavorable characteristics of being human. Essentially, it makes the lazy lazier, the nasty nastier, and the toxic more toxic. Now, this is not me saying that there are not or were not people who have come out of the projects and persevered towards peace and prosperity. I am not stating that. Now, it was his mom that introduced him to said low end, thus dimming his light well before he had any time to shine. Check out my other Son-Husbands videos for further on that. Now he's an adult, missing the days of low-end culture. How was that conducive to forward momentum. When he's thinking about things that he knows really nothing about. I was speaking with someone whom I did not know, and we exchanged our upbringing versus our children, in the sense of generations. And they were shocked to find out that he was one of my sons based on his behavior versus who I am and my standards. Originally, I wasn't going to do this video, but after that conversation, as well as the screenshots that were troublesome, I figured that others needed the video to provide caution as to dealing with people who are in position to harm and or lead a young man's energy astray and or even take advantage of them just to blame another or the child or teen themselves. And that's the reality.